Welcome to Nick Buchanan Racing, and in this video, we're going to be installing a set of number plates on my racing motorcycle. The backgrounds and numbers used in this video can be found at advantagedesign.net. I'll put a link in the description. So we're going to start on the belly pan of my motorcycle, and you'll see here that the idea is that the colored background goes on like a big sticker, and then you just put your race number over top of it to create a number plate. If you have a track bike, you can pretty much do whatever you think looks cool. You can run whatever color, size, and whatever locations you want. However, if you're racing, like in this case on my bike, you'll have to check the rulebook to see the location, size, and color that you're required to run for your number plates. In this case on the belly pan, I have cut the number plates down to be a little bit smaller to fit the spot I want to put these. And on this location, the size of the numbers we're using are 4-inch tall black numbers. So you'll see here what I've been doing is kind of getting the spots that I want to put these plates marked out with some painter's tape. This helps get everything straight and exact. And you can also measure things out from whatever point you have to try and get them symmetrical and have the plates matching in the exact spot on each side. If you can't get them perfect, I wouldn't sweat it. Nobody can really see each side of your belly pan at the same time anyway. So if you've got a basically flat surface like we've got here, it's really not that complicated. It just goes on like a big sticker. Try and make it as straight as you can, and as you get started from one end, go ahead and work all the air bubbles out as you work the sticker from one end to the other. That's how you're going to get a really clean job with no bubbles or wrinkles left behind. Well, that's one side done. On to the other side. Well, with the backgrounds done, now we get to move on to putting our race number on. Go ahead and mock them up, whether you've got 1, 2, or 3-digit number. Place them in the number plate and get it just how you like it. And then you can use some masking tape, just like we did with the number backgrounds. You can use the masking tape to kind of mark the edges so that when you're putting the numbers down, you'll get them centered nice and evenly. You'll see the white part peels off of the number first, and then you've got the black number, and then the clear layer that goes over top for applying the number. A trick here is when you get finished with one number and move on to the next, leave that clear layer on. You can use the edge of the clear layer over top to line the next number up next to it. Well, that's it for the belly pan. I think that looks fantastic. Now we're going to move on to the tail section of my motorcycle. So same as before, try and mock up the number plate and get it just how you want it on the bike. You'll see here that on my tail, we've got a little bit of a more complex shape to go over. There's ridges and curves, and it's not flat and easy like the belly pan. So if you have a section like this on your bike, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but don't worry, I'll show you one trick that's going to make it go on perfectly with no wrinkles and no air bubbles. Now at first it's going to go on easily, all the air is going to come out, no problem, but as you try and stretch this plate over more complex shapes, keeping it in one piece, you're going to run into a little bit of trouble where it's going to start to wrinkle and you're going to have a hard time getting air bubbles out. The trick here is you're going to need to use a heat gun. If you try and do this without a heat gun, it's just not going to look good. You're going to get air bubbles and wrinkles, and I really don't think you're going to be happy with the results. But if you have a heat gun, or if you have to go out and get one, just get something cheap. I think I got this one for less than 20 bucks, and use that on the low setting to heat the number plate. As you heat the plate, you're going to find that it gets a lot more soft and flexible, and all those wrinkles that were difficult to get out before are going to press out no problem. Just be careful not to heat the number plate too much. I'm using mine on the low setting, and I'm just keeping the gun moving around so that I don't overheat one section at a time. You'll find that it'll stay hot for a minute or two and allow you to work that section along, getting all the wrinkles out. As it cools off, you'll feel the plate start to get a little bit more rigid, and it's time for reheating. Just continue to repeat this process over and over again. Take your time. This whole section took me about 15 minutes, but it's definitely worth it in the end. If you're patient, you can get this whole piece on with no air bubbles or wrinkles at all. Well, our patience has paid off. This whole piece is on, and I must say I think it looks fantastic. No wrinkles, no bubbles, just what we want. Now you can see I let the excess just kind of hang over the end of my bodywork. It's easiest to just do it that way for putting it on, and then we can cut the excess off later when it's all finished. Now that it's cut down to size, it's time to put our race number on. Thank you.